Oh my god, I really just burned my ears. I tried to put my earrings in, I could not get them in, and now they're really on fire.
Oh, Jesus, they are.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So, it's been a little eyeshadow palette heavy up in here. I don't know about your house, but in this house, there's been a lot of eyeshadow palettes hitting the ground lately. So I thought we'd do a little summary, a little ranking video, and we can kind of put them in order from least to most favourite, because don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed all of these eyeshadow palettes, but I definitely have some that I love more, that have a more special place in my heart. I know Christmas is coming up. Maybe you're trying to decide which one of these might want to come home with you. Maybe you're waiting for sales and you want to be ready. So I'm here to help you. So I'm going to be ranking the two palettes that I picked up from the Pat Mcgrath holiday collection, the new Charlotte Tilbury quad, as well as her larger palette that she brought out at the beginning of the holiday season, the Mario mattes palette that I picked up, the two palettes I picked up most recently from Natasha Denona, Bronze and Glam, and the most recent palette from Huda Beauty, the Naughty palette. So those are the palettes that I'm going to be ranking today. So in 8th place, I don't think it'll be a huge surprise to you guys, it's the Huda Naughty palette. Now, I don't want to say I don't like this palette. I do like this palette, and actually when I pull it out and I look at it, I'm so excited to use it. I really want to use this whenever I get it out. This is literally me in a palette. These are my tones, these are my shades. I am reaching for this and wanting to use this all of the time. But the reason it's in 8th place is I'd say most times that I use this, I feel underwhelmed by the outcome. Like the application and all of that stuff, I don't have many issues really. It's a decent palette, it is, and I love the colour story, I love the tones, I love the shades, everything. But the finished article, it's just never quite what I wish it could be. It's a little understated for me. The shimmers just don't have the extra pizzazz that I want. It's a little muted on the eye. Everything always turns out a bit washed out. It just never quite has the impact I wish it had. Every shade, every look that I've done with this palette, I have really liked, but I've never loved it. You know, it's just a little underwhelming for me. And I wish it wasn't that way, because this would be my dream. Like if I created a palette with a brand, other than obviously this waste of space over here, this would be what it would look like. These shades, these tones, this number of mattes to shimmers. It's got so much good in it. I like the packaging. You know how I feel about the unnecessary filth that was applied to the naming process. But yeah, this is my colour story. It's me in a palette, but it's just sadly missing like the je ne sais quoi, the X factor, that little zhuzh that I wish it had, you know. So in 7th place, it's the Mario palette. I like this palette. It's very, I mean, it's not exciting, is it? You don't look at it and think, woo. I hear you. So that's why it couldn't really be much higher, because the palettes that are coming after it, they're just way more exciting, to me at least. But this, as far as the office, your everyday, your neutrals, your mattes, this is just, it's a treat for the eyes. I really like it. It's really grown on me. It's more of a necessity than like a love and a, you know, blow your mind. And it's like the most beautiful eyeshadow you've ever seen. It's like, it does the thing that it does just beautifully and perfectly, and I have definitely grown to really appreciate it. That thing, that one thing that it does it exceptionally well. By the way, if my ears look like purple, it's because they are. I just tried to force some earrings into my ears and they were like extremely unhappy about it. So just try not to notice that they currently match my lipstick, okay? So in number 6, and actually 6 and 5, they were the hardest to pick apart here, and you'll see why. Number 6 is the Bejeweled palette from Charlotte Tilbury. It's so pretty, it is. I think the palettes that come above it are maybe just a bit more me. Like there's definitely some shades in here that aren't really my type of shades, but there's a lot of shades that really are, and it really surprises me. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury's formula always surprises me, because they just pack way more punch than they look like they're going to. And I love her formula. I think this is a beautiful palette. I love the packaging. You know, it's perfect for holiday, and it's got a lot going for it. A lot of very pretty shades in here. Everything looks beautiful on the eye, and yeah, it's nice. Everything about it is lovely, but it's not my ultimate favorite when it comes to like the color story. So in 5th place, it's the Interstellar Icons from Pat Mcgrath, the quad that I picked up from her holiday collection. It's glorious, it's beautiful. It's missing like one thing for me. It's the palette I'm wearing on my eyes today. I just feel for me, for like my skill level, my creativity level, which is pretty low, I won't lie to you, I'm definitely not an arty person. And as far as like putting a look together with just this palette, I can do it. I did it today and it looks fine, but I just kind of sometimes wish that there was just something else going on in here. It's a little limited. The looks that I can get with it are glorious. This shade in particular is like heaven. It's so beautiful, but I don't know that it really like fits in the quad, if that makes sense. It's like, it's a beautiful shade that I would love to use a lot. And I think that this shade with just like maybe even just bronzer or just one sort of warm bronzy shade in the crease, and this would just be a gorgeous simple look. But yeah, this is a quad. It's missing something. It's stunning. The shades are beautiful. The formula in here is lovely, and I can make a beautiful look that gives me something I don't really have in my collection, these sort of smoky blues that I think really suit my eye colour, because I have like bluey grey eyes. I think it really suits my eye colour. But yeah, I'm longing for something else. I guess it's just because it's a quad, you know, it leaves you hanging as a quad. I wish there was just, I could maybe live without this shade. That's what I'm saying to you. I wish I could get this one out and maybe like a rich bronzy matte in here instead. But that's just me. And in 4th place, my newest addition to my collection is the Charlotte Tilbury Fire Rose. Now, if we're saying that the Bejeweled palette is not so much like my typical colour story, and neither is the Interstellar Icons, this is what I'm talking about. This is my colour story, okay? If you're looking for me, like what tones I love, I mean, this is it. It's just glorious. This and the Huda palette, those like tones, I just really appreciate them. They're just so wearable. I feel like they're flattering. They suit me. This is the prettiest, most feminine, easygoing, soft and stunning. I get everything I want out of it. The matte is glorious. The two softer shimmers do exactly what you want them to do. It works. You can easily do a completely done eye look with this quad. So that's what I'm saying about this versus like the Pat Mcgrath. I just feel like, although I can do a whole look out of the Pat Mcgrath quad, I think it could be better if the quad was slightly different. This is like, it's done. You don't need anything else. You can do a whole look with this with no issues, and it's glorious. I just think it's so pretty. Again, another nice holiday gift. It's perfect for Christmas. And in 3rd place, I think the one I've had the longest out of these, I think, don't quote me, my memory is like a sieve, but it's the bronze palette from Natasha Denona. This is like what I wish the Huda palette was, because I think actually if I held, well, let's do that. So when you place these two together, I think you can actually see much clearer how mauvey the Huda is versus like the more sort of classic warm tones, the browns of the Natasha Denona. I think the Huda is way more like me because of those rosy tones, those rose golds, those mauve tones. But the performance of the bronze palette is in a whole other galaxy. It's just, this performs so well. There's not a shade in here that I don't or won't use. These two shades are probably the most like, to look at them, the least everyday shades, but they're totally wearable, and actually so that shimmer is so pretty, and in combo with that matte, which looks really weird and intimidating because it's her creamy formula and they kind of look different in the pan than actually how they perform on the eye. That was a mistake with a grey top, wasn't it? But this whole palette is like wearable town. Like if I want a really beautiful eye look that's doesn't require any thought process. One palette, then like I could reach for this all day, every day, for a soft glam every day, every occasion, but super beautiful. Then I tend to reach for this one. I do wish there was a couple more mattes to shimmers as far as ratio. Again, I prefer the ratio in the Huda as far as mattes to shimmers. But that being said, it's a stunning, beautiful palette that I really, you just cannot go wrong with. I have never had a look I haven't loved come from this palette. It's like Old Faithful, Mr. Reliable, or Mrs. You know, we don't discriminate here. Now, between second and first place, it was tricky. I won't lie to you. It was very, very tricky, very tricky. But in second place, it is Celestial Divinity from Pat Mcgrath. This is just, I have such a love affair with this palette. I've raved about it. I've ranted and raved like a lunatic about this palette since the moment it arrived. It's just such a treat for me. It's so fun, yet wearable. It's just on the brink of like being too scary and terrifying and colourful for me, but it pushes me out of my comfort zone, and I really love wearing the colours in here. I think they're so fun, but so they don't intimidate me. I get a lot of joy, like the most joy out of this palette. It's just so fun. Again, I wish we could take out a couple of the golds, just a couple of the golds, please, mother, and put in a couple more mattes, a couple of more neutral mattes that would go, you know, with everything, that would give you, I wish there was like a lighter brown matte in here that would just give you like your first shade, just help you out, you know, help you blend the edges without going to another palette. But it's a treat. I love using it. There's not a shade in here that I don't want to use or won't use. It's so fun and pretty and beautiful, and like nothing else I have in my collection, which is rare to find. Something I want in my collection that I don't already have in my collection. It's a rare day that I find that these days. So of course that means that coming in at number one, it is Natasha Denona's Glam palette. And I mean, it looks just on screen, looking at it now, it looks really boring. It really does, but I am boring. I'm very boring when it comes to makeup. This is like me, I just love a cool tone. I love cooler neutrals. This is just like a wintry vibe for me, and I really haven't had enough opportunity to use this, because this was one of the ones, you know, it came out and then the Pat Mcgraths came and then the Charlotte Tilburys came, and it kind of, I'm so excited to keep going back and using it because it's such a treat and a pleasure, and the formulas in here are her absolute best formulas. This has got, you know, it's got enough mattes. Again, I'd take another couple of mattes. I'll take them off your hands. But this for winter, for this time of year, for like what suits me or what I feel suits me, this like just ticks every box. And as much as I love and get a lot of joy out of this one, but for all the difference it gives me, the something else, the something new, this gives me my comfort zone, and in the most beautiful way. You know, so there you have it. This last couple of months for eyeshadow palettes, not too shabby, was it? Not too shabby. I love them. I think they have just given me so much enjoyment, and I can't wait for a bit of a pause, a bit of a break from eyeshadow, so I can actually get back into using some of these, using the Glam palette again a lot more, using the bronze palette, you know, just experimenting and getting back to use the eyeshadow palettes that have kind of come and gone and just been replaced by new and new and new all the time. I just really love using what I've got, and especially when it comes to this one, like I get so excited to use this one when I don't have something new to review and to get used to. So yeah, that one I feel like it's got my heart the most. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful in some way. Please let us know down below if you have any of these palettes, what your order is or would be, which ones you think are the best, which are your favorites, which you don't like, and help us out further in the comments section down below. As always, I would love to see you in my next video. Otherwise, take care for now. Bye.